All right, I think I'm live. I gotta give it like 10 seconds because I hate talking and then watching this back and it's just interrupted me. So if you missed it, there's a first part to this. It should be hopefully it uploaded. I don't know. I keep getting phone calls and I can usually dismiss them, but no, apparently this phone call totally knocked me off the live stream. So don't call me right now, people. I'm doing something. I only get like 20 minutes a day to myself. Stop calling me, okay? Jesus. What a trailer. Ample thought. So and while I was trying to get this thing to upload or pray that the first part of this live stream uploaded, yeah, Billy Burr plays old Kennedy. Dan Levy's in it. Is that Eugene Levy's son? Hugh Grant, Melissa McCarthy, Amy Schumer, Jack McBrayer. I'm trying to think who else is in it. Jim Gaffigan. There is a ton of people, and that's the thing. It almost reminded me like if The Simpsons made a movie, but wasn't as clever, if that makes any sense. Because they literally just like, it's like very literal parody. Like this, like I was saying, the Rice Krispies dude is Snap Crackle Pop, like they're in it. The Quaker Oats guy, who looks like the Quaker Oats guy in the box, is in it, and I think those are like supposed to be the jokes. Which I'm like, if that's the joke, you know, that's really not carrying the trailer too well. The list goes on and on. Everyone is in it. You're right, Ampleton. And I feel like maybe this is Jerry Seinfeld's B movie, but for adults. And again, I'm biased. I don't like Jerry Seinfeld. Never watched his show. Didn't get it. It seemed very whiny and just not as clever as I thought. Like everyone said, it was a show about nothing. And I understood that. I was like, yep, that's why I don't watch it. It doesn't seem like there's any soul to that show. It just seemed like very flat and I don't know how to describe it. I guess no soul. That's what Seinfeld felt like to me. It just had no soul. There was no heart to any character. I feel like at any moment they could have been very ruthless to each other and not looked back. Like that's a show. That was like Seinfeld was essentially the comedic Game of Thrones. Because they could have killed off any character. They didn't. But if they had killed off Kramer or Costanza or whatever their name is, like if they killed off those characters throughout each season, nobody would have batted an eye. Let's hit this again later. There's so much to unpack. This is listen, Ample Thought. That's immediately when I was done watching the trailer. And I watched the trailer because Bill Burr tweeted it. And I think it was a Jerry Seinfeld retweet. And Bill Burr like never tweets. So I was like, I gotta see this. And then I see him in it, and I'm like, oh shit, he's doing a Kennedy impression. Oh man. I was like, oh, and it's not even funny. His joke was like a joke I make on this live stream. You know, like my kid can draw better than that. Era. It's bad. I'm like, did somebody offer Jerry? It was like B movie. I remember when B movie was promoted and Jerry hit it hard. And you don't see Jerry outside of, you know, being photographed with, I don't know, like 17-year-old girls. Or isn't his wife like 17 or something? So outside of that, like him and DiCaprio aren't really showing their face outside the 17 and under club. And Jerry Seinfeld was everywhere for B movie. In fact, I think I have some old DVDs that have like the B movie promotional stuff before you can watch the movie, and it's like Jerry Seinfeld, hard sell after hard sell after hard sell. And I kept thinking like Jerry Seinfeld would probably be a good writer and creator for like kids content. You know, he's very proud of like him not using the F word or swearing. But when it comes to an adult movie, let's be honest. It's not what we're looking for. This might be the comedy that you watch with your kids, and maybe your kids laugh. I don't see too many adults outside of maybe the like hardcore Seinfeld fans being like, oh yeah, this is it. And it's going right to Netflix. You know, it's definitely not going to the theaters. At least it's not a sequel. Don't count that out, Ample Thought. This will be a sequel. Or they will have a sequel to this. I think it's just an easy money thing. He either got offered so much, which is weird to think because I believe I was just reading an article the other day that said Seinfeld, yeah, it was Seinfeld, because they said with his television distribution money, or his TV show distribution money, or the rights to that, he's going to be the first comedy billionaire. Jerry Seinfeld's gonna be a billionaire, which is just fucking dumb, people. Like, that's too much money. And irregardless of my situation in life, where like money just solves our problems right now, and I'm not even asking for a lot of it. It's like we just need a home to live in, food on the table, and this fucking dude's gonna be a billionaire, and he's making dumbass movie. Like, some of the people that are so rich, I'm like, they're so dumb. Jeff Bezos didn't invent anything. He just said, oh, the internet is where we'll sell stuff to people. Elon Musk didn't invent the electric car. He's not doing anything great for humanity. And if you look into the projects like the microchips for brains and the amount of monkeys he's disposed of, I think you wouldn't be cheering him on. And if you are, line up. Why don't you first in line? Get that chip in your head so we can track you everywhere. That's the funniest thing. The people that thought that certain V words, tracked them or had a chip in it. But also those people, like the diagram, is it a Venn diagram or whatever? Those people also overlap to cheering Elon Musk on for wanting to put chips in people's brains. Like, as soon as your work gets a hold of that chip that's in your head, you're done. They're going to be like, oh, you said you were going on vacation or that you were sick, but I see you went to your lake house. Well, no one's going to have a lake house at that point. I see you were laying on the couch for a couple hours. And usually sick people stay in their bedroom, and you're going to be like, what? How do you know that? And I'm going to be like, oh, the newest Mind Plant chip update 0.03 has tracking that we can tell if you actually are sick or if your brain chemistry is euphoric. So you're fired. Well, full disclosure, I liked B movie. Ample thought. What were you, 8 when it came out? You liked B movie? Listen, I appreciated the puns in it, okay? It was punny, and I think that's great for kids. But Jesus H. William Christ, when my kids want to put that on for a second time, I'm like, please, no, it's brutal. Again, I feel like that movie lacked a soul. And even though, like, the moral of the story was, essentially there, it's like the bees want their honey back, they're being oppressed. And then they get their honey back and the world collapses. So they got to figure out a way to save the world. Like, there's character arcs. The bee has a character arc. The humans do. Well, no, not really. The humans do. But anyways, it has the greatest intentions to have a soul. I just feel like Jerry Seinfeld's comedy lacks heart and soul. If it was music, it would be, I was going to say Limp Bizkit, but no, it would be, if it was music, it would be like the Rebecca Black. Like, everybody can laugh at it, but does it have soul? Not really. It's Friday. That's kind of Jerry Seinfeld's comedy. Huge, everybody knows it, but does it have any soul? No. And again, if you watch the first part of this live stream, I was saying that, like, it's a weird idea in 2024. Like, I get people want to be distracted, and that's why entertainment, still rakes in $1 jillion. But, like, Kellogg's and Post Cereal, a movie about Pop-Tarts right now. Are you unaware that Kellogg's CEO just came out and told people, if you can't afford food for dinner, just eat our cereal? And he price gouges his cereal. He raised the price 17% over the past year. Like, Jerry, you're giving this guy a free fucking commercial in your movie, and he's that asshole. It just kind of makes me think birds of a feather, squawk together, whatever it's called. Flock together. So I say flock you. Flock both of you, because you kind of are birds of a feather. If it were music, it'd be Smash Mouth. Ha 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 ha. I'm trying to think if Smash Mouth has a soul. What are they? Hey Now, You're an All-Star. Are they the Shrek band? Is Smash Mouth the Shrek house band? That's what I'm going to call them from now on. That's them, right? I'm pretty sure. Smash Mouth is the Shrek house band. Yeah, I could see like, but they're touching upon soul, you know? Like I'm talking about a complete lack of soul. What music would that be? Leave it in the comments if you're watching this later. What music has a complete lack of soul? Like most pop country, um, there's some hip hop that is a complete lack of soul. I think anything about Jay-Z's over the past couple of years, where he's talking about he regrets not buying up Brooklyn, like owning all of Brooklyn. Okay, interesting. So your rap is I'm not rich enough. Relatable. But I'm trying to think, what would be the music that has complete lack of soul? Bare Naked Ladies, I hate to admit this, but they got soul. Maybe the Goo Goo Dolls or Edwin McCain. I wish I knew like contemporary country artists. I really do. What would be Adam Levine's Maroon 5? That is devoid of humanity, any of that music. If Ben Stein was in music form, thank you. Yes, that is essentially this movie. But actually, well, Ben Stein, his drowsy comedy is at least a bit entertaining. Like, if you can endure the patience you need to get through his whole joke or whatever he's saying. This Unfrosted movie is painful to watch, especially because like I'm trying to figure out, because I'm like, there's no way it was this lazy. There's no way that they're like, the joke is we have the Quaker Oats guy be a Quaker. Like, that can't be the joke from Jerry Seinfeld. No way. No way. That can't be the joke. Like, the joke in your movie, Jerry Seinfeld, billion-dollar comedian, can't be, we have Snap, Crackle, Pop as real people in it. Like, that can't be the joke. Like, I could have done better than that. Ben Stein is probably in this movie. He was in B-movie. Yeah, how old is Ben Stein, though? I fear for him. Have we prolonged his life? You know, when people say, like, did I prematurely kill him? Did we prolong his life? Good God, man. I am very disappointed. Well, no, I'm not disappointed in Jerry Seinfeld. I'm disappointed in Bill Burr, but I think, like, for good reason he did it. You know, he wants to be buddy-buddy with Jerry Seinfeld. It's just like the people that go on Joe Rogan's podcast that are comics, you know, and aren't, like, debating on whether, you know, vaccines work on the moon or if, you know, aliens truly mated with reptile people and that's how we got the Ephraim angels, or if moonstones can truly tell what your psychic aura looks like. You know, for the people that aren't debating whether or not lobsters are proof from that human masculinity really did evolve over time, and we can just look at the ancient lobster and how their courting calls go. So as Ben Stein is 79. Wow. He was like 79 when he was 20. So good for you, Ben Stein. Turns out if you age old young, you just stay young. But the people that go on Joe Rogan's podcast are all like, you know, they're doing it to be like, Joe, you like me, right? Ha 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 ha. That's why if you've never seen the Bill Burr podcast, or the Bill Burr goes on Joe Rogan's podcast, it happened during the pandemic, which any podcast right now is still happening during the pandemic. But Bill, another Boston boy, doesn't take no ish from him and calls him out on stuff. And I thought that was great. And it was like, that's a dude who can sense another Boston dude, and Joe's a Boston dude. And Massachusetts, we're all Massachusetts, massholes. Well, I'll just call them massholes. And Joe, being a masshole, he can kind of cleverly slick his way into a conversation and pretend like, you know, he could bully you into believing what he believes. and Bill Burr wasn't having it, and that's my favorite and only Joe Rogan podcast I'll watch, because Bill Burr just called him on his ish. And mostly comics like Bert Kreischer, who just is like, Bert is a succubus on society in comedy, or an incubus, or whichever one is worse. I'm not sure, I don't have experience with either, but whichever succubus or incubus is worse, that's what Bert Kreischer is on. Like, God, I can't even talk about him. But like, when those people go on Joe Rogan, I feel like the whole interview is just like, you like me, right? You like me, right? Ha 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 ha. Horrible. And that's what I think these celebrities were doing for Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted movie. Essentially, they were like, yeah, it's Jerry Seinfeld. He's a billionaire, and I need to be friends with him. And that's what's wrong with society right now. Ample thought. And Joe Rogan loses his mind laughing with those bear-capable comedians. I mean, and you know, the proof is in, what's it, Brendan Schaub, how Joe launched and tried to keep afloat his career, and that dude is just another succubus. Which is worse? Leave it in the comments. I need to look this up now. Would you rather have a succubus or an incubus haunting your home? Or is there a better demon spawn that could, you know, essentially eradicate society or eradicate the culture of comedy? I don't know. I gotta look that up. I gotta see what in the 7 Rings of Hell is worse, because that's what Bert Kreischer and Brendan Schaub and Joe Rogan's little gang of comedians are. You just want people with a backbone, you know, that believes what they believe in, whether they're, I don't want to say right or wrong, but at least can, like, you know, not Joe Rogan horse pill into, like, I'll never forget watching Joe Rogan. He kept asking this doctor, he was like, I heard that if you go in the sauna, you won't get it. And the doctor's like, what? And Joe was like, yeah. And they said, because, like, the hot air kills the germ. And the doctor's like, no. What are you, stupid? What are you, reading the National Enquirer? What? And I was thinking, like, this is the $1 billion man? This is the $100 million man? Couldn't we do better? And the doctor was like, no. And Joe wouldn't leave it alone and kept trying to be like, really? Are you sure? Because hot air? Because I have a sauna? Because I do it 4 times a day? Am I not immune? And it's like shit like that, where it's like, bud, take the loss. Just fucking, you're wrong. We know how much you're paid, and you can still be wrong. Jesus. It's incredible. And I hate people who just circle themselves. Demogorgon. Yes, Bert is a Demogorgon. Shane Gillis is funny, though. And I hate to say that. Bert sucks. He's a vampire comedy. He's worse than a vampire. He's a succubus. Shane Gillis, he keeps popping up in YouTube, and I just refuse to watch. He just has that Bert Kreischer look. Like Shane Gillis is if Bert Kreischer wasn't an alcoholic, you know, like his face isn't so flush and red, and his nose isn't so engorged, and doesn't always look like he's about to start shaking from withdrawals. And I can say this shit because I'm a former addict. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I'm all those things. So I know the signs, all right? And it's no diss on him. I'm just saying, like, yo, last time I see my brother, I was like, yep, you can't hide this one. So yeah, go watch Unfrosted and then come back here and let me know, what version of Soulless entertainment is this? Because it is just lacking heart, soul, and anything. I can't fucking believe Bill Burr. What is his fucking name? Bill Burr. I can't believe Bill Burr did this movie. And then Jerry Seinfeld told, like, maybe this movie is just Jerry seeing how far he can push people to look like morons. Because Bill Burr was doing, like, I was proud of Bill Burr. I was like, the first dude in the galaxy to have a Boston accent on Star Wars was Bill Burr. I was like, he's representing us. We're proud. Super excited. I'm not a Star Wars fan too much, but, you know, I watch some of them things because the kids like it. And I noticed that there were no mass holes in the Star Wars universe, and then Bill Burr made it and went, representation. So I was excited. Now I think Jerry Seinfeld is just trying to eradicate all Bill Burr's goodwill and his reputation. And I think Seinfeld. That's my conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory is like Jerry Seinfeld wanted to see how many comics he could put in a horrible movie and just push them to look like morons because he's Jerry Seinfeld. I think he's just flexing. That's all this movie is, the Jerry Seinfeld flex. Jerry's like, I get to play a straight comic man in a suit, and I'm going to push Bill Burr into a role because I'm Jerry Seinfeld, and I know Bill won't say no to being the worst JFK ever. The most unfunny, horrible JFK. Wendy Taylor, hey, what is up? What's going on? I'm about to end the live stream, but I encourage you to go back and watch it, and I would love it if you watched the first one. Making stupid movies is trending these days, Sadvik. It's totally 100%. If you guys haven't watched the Unfrosted new Jerry Seinfeld movie, just be prepared, because every favorite celebrity comic you have is going to promote it till hell at you. But it's just horrible. It's the most untimely, unfunny, lacking heart and soul. I was comparing it to, like, if this, it lacks so much soul that if it was music, it would be Rebecca Black and that song Friday, Friday, because everybody knows it, everybody's heard of it, but it's just totally lacking any soul. And this is not a dig on Rebecca Black, please, okay? This is a dig on Jerry Seinfeld. No disrespect, Rebecca Black, but Jerry Seinfeld, flock you, buddy. So yeah, and I did a live stream right before this talking a little bit about it, but I really think Jerry Seinfeld is flexing. He's using that Seinfeld power to make his celebrity friends, because everybody's in this. Jim Gaffigan, Jack McBrayer, Bill Burr, Amy Schumer, Melissa McCarthy. There's other not top tier celebs, and Hugh Grant, trying to think. I can't, but everybody's in it. I feel like the movie trailer for Frosted is strictly carried on how many cameos are in it. Not cameos, but how many celebrities and comics are in it. Because, like, once you get into the meat and potatoes of, like, what the movie's about, it just becomes totally unfunny. And then it's just, you're watching because every transition is like, oh, there's another comic in it. Oh my God, he's in it? And then you're like, why are they all saying horrible, lazy, bad comedy lines? Like, these are great comics. Did they not let anyone write this? Jerry, did you, like, does your kid have a writing credit? Does he have a kid? Do his dogs do the writing on this? Because, Jerry, this is lazy. You should have talked to your comedian friends in your car when you were getting coffee about this movie. They would have told you no. Maybe not, you're Jerry Seinfeld. So they just would have laughed and been like, oh, great idea, Jerry. A cereal movie about Pop-Tarts in a day and age where it's so effing away from the pulse of anything that's going on. And again, I would like to see the second movie to, what is it? This Is Up. I forget who wrote and directed that. Oh my God, I'm sorry. But if you haven't seen the Don't Look Up, not This Is Up. If you haven't seen the Don't Look Up movie, brilliant, timely, hilariously funny. And then we have Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted. All right, yeah, I gotta get out of here too. Peace, Ample Thought, Wendy, Satvic, thank you guys. And leave it in the comments. What is soulless music? Who's the band that you believe is just soulless? Again, I was gonna say Limp Bizkit, but I don't even think I can call them soulless. They get a little bit of soul. They like to punch it up sometimes. I mean, it's the dumbest music ever, but it's got a little bit of soul. Oh, what is soulless music? Now I'm gonna look this up. I'm so frustrated. Now I'm gonna look this up. Leave it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on Unfrosted. Am I just a hater? Am I just a hater? I do hate Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, I respect him. He's gonna be the first billionaire comic, but God, is he not funny. Just not funny. And he's doing me favors to prove that correctly with this movie. So, peace. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, hit subscribe and the notification bell. I go live 5 days a week, and it would mean the world to me. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed and joined the family. It really means the world to me, especially in these dark days, these hopeless days that I'm living in. It's just been very tough for my family. So when I see new subscribers and people joining in the chat like Satvic and Ample Thought and Wendy, I'm just very grateful. It's humbling, and I'm very, very grateful that you've joined the channel. So thank you. Peace.